Like this video, please, and thank you. Like this video. Now, in court today, Kandi and Todd, one of their first court dates. It wasn't really a court date, actually. It was a status conference, a 30-day status conference, and they having another one in 30 days, I think on the 19th of February. Now, whew, shout out to Dennis Byron. If you in here, Dennis, click the link and call me, friend. He probably ain't. He probably sleep because I'm the one who stay up late. But Dennis called me early this morning trying to get me to click into that Zoom link, and I was like, "Child, I am sleep. I needed my sleep. It was some good sleep too. I had took me a melatonin, and child, I was snoring. Okay, and I was like, who is this? Keep blowing up my phone at 8:30. Don't nobody call me this time of night. Okay, I mean this time of morning, but it was Dennis. About the third phone call, I answered it, and he was like, check your email. I sent you the link." And so he sent me the Zoom link, and I was like, okay, are you gonna are you gonna join? And he was like he was gonna join or whatever. I was like, okay, well, let me know what happens. Okay. And so I didn't join. I went back to sleep. But he did, and he called me afterwards. Okay. Now, the crazy thing is, that Kandi had filed, we've been talking about the court documents for weeks now. I was actually the first person to even bring the court documents to the public because remember, nobody could find the court documents because they were in their nicknames. It was K. Lanice Tucker versus T. Jermaine. I mean, K. Lanice Burruss versus T. Jermaine Tucker. Okay. And so when I started talking about it, everybody then they went and screenshot what I had and went and found it. Okay. But I feed the streets. I'm not even mad about it. I feed the streets. And so in doing so, in this particular hearing, they were hoping to address Kandi's motion to seal, right? And remember, Todd filed a motion to keep the records open. So they can't seal the documents without both of them agreeing to it, for one. And secondly, the judge had to rule on it anyway. So the judge decided to keep everything open, I guess, for now. Second thing that they spoke about, there was a Rule 22. Okay, a Rule 22 was filed by a blogger. Okay, a blogger filed a Rule 22. And if you don't know what a Rule 22 is, it's a form that is an official request by the media to record or broadcast the court proceedings. And so on that Rule 22 is asking, what do you want to do? Do you want to bring a camera? Are you going to bring a laptop? Are you gonna live stream it? Like live streaming the OJ trial. Like they have to get the judge's permission to do those types of things. Now, it's not automatic. Okay, when you file a Rule 22, the judge doesn't automatically approve it. That's not the way it happens. And so a judge normally will weigh public interest, if it would be a disruption to the trial, what type of hearing it is, and all that type of thing. Like you can sit in there all day long. Like it's a public hearing. I told y'all before, just like I said in Kenya Moore's hair spa eviction case, you can sit in court cases. It's open to the public. But this particular situation, it was really idiotic for her to they. See, I was trying because I'm in too many beefs with too many bloggers, but it was really a dumb move for this particular blogger to file a Rule 22 because they haven't even gotten involved in the case yet. It's not even into the process where they're hearing any motions or documents yet. It was literally a status conference. There was no testimony, no evidence, no drama. It was a little bit of stuff that may have leaked out, like where exactly Todd is staying right now, and all of that kind of stuff, and it just nitpicking on what exactly to do with the kids right in this very moment. But other than that, like I said, it didn't even the situation didn't even last long. Now, it was interesting because I saw this form. I saw this form. I talked about this earlier on Patreon too. I saw this form when I downloaded those documents a few days ago when we were talking about it. And I was like, oh, good for them, good for whoever, good for the person. It is what it is. All I know is I'm not going down there with my tape recorder or whatever. I work smarter, not harder. But this person filed this again. This is the actual Rule 22 request. Okay. The court date was today, January 12th, 2026. It was, again, like I told you, it was a status conference. It wasn't a hearing. There wasn't any motions filed. Nobody was arguing, none of that. And there's the person's name, Lakeisha Howard. Okay. Uh oh, okay, I did black it out because normally I wouldn't black out no phone numbers on no public record, but it is what it is. I'm being nice today. It says, this is the name of the media, blah blah blah, name, address, phone number, email address, and phone number. And it says, is this a request to live stream the proceedings? No. So the person wasn't gonna live stream. It's like, if you filing this, you might as well live. Why not live stream for the people and make some real money? Why would you say no? But the judge disapproved it. Okay. He said no. He said absolutely not. Okay. And the reason he disapproved it is because, remember, Kandi's attorney had already filed the motion to seal the documents. They already felt the ways about the media, digging into a lot of the things that Kandi wasn't sure that Todd was going to be fighting. And now here it is, this Rule 22 from this blogger in the middle of this status hearing. They was like, what the hell? They literally was like, what the hell? So they asked the blogger. They called the blogger to the carpet. They asked the blogger, what are you trying to do? And she didn't say anything. So Kandi's attorney was pretty much like, objecting to the entire thing, like, objection, I don't want it, please disapprove it, yada yada. It doesn't make any sense at this point in time. And the judge pretty much agreed because the blogger was not prepared to fight her case. Now the crazy thing is, I talk to Dennis Byron all the time. He works with TMZ and a lot of big news media outlets. He's a journalist in real life, all of that. He files these type of forms all the time. Usher he was actually in the Usher divorce case. Dennis was in there filming for TMZ, and I was in there with my little notepad. Okay. And my thing is, I didn't need a camera because I knew I could get the video from TMZ. Why I'm gonna work hard, right? So, yeah, you said what I was thinking. Somebody said she gonna mess it up for everybody. Exactly, because why on earth would you file this for a status conference? Then when you get there and the judge asks you, after Kandi's attorney objects to it, you have the opportunity to state your case. So she could have actually said something like, it's my Fourth Amendment right to record this public proceedings, blah blah blah, I'm a member of the media, yada yada, blah 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 blah. But she said nothing. She, they, them said nothing. Didn't say, I'm a media outlet. This is a public interest. Nothing. She just said okay, and the judge disapproved it. And here it is, right here, the disapproval. The requesting agency shall not pull for its media. So when I saw this, originally, it had not been approved or disapproved. It was actually filed. Now the judge has signed it, and there it is right there. It has been disapproved. Now, hold on. Dennis and a few of his bloggers friends actually did a stream this morning where they discussed it, and hopefully they will allow me to use a little piece of this clip where they talked about it. Shout out to Real Talk Bougie. Dennis was on this platform earlier today, and when I woke up, I called him back, and he answered the phone while he was live streaming with them. I was so ashamed because he was like, "I got Michelle on the line." I was like, "What?" I was so confused. So if I sounded dry, Real Talk Bougie, I apologize because it wasn't that I didn't want to engage with y'all. It was that Dennis put me on the spot and I didn't know what was going on. Okay. So here is the video. Okay. Y'all know the drill. Copyright disclaimer on section 107 of the Copyright Act. Allowance is made for what? Fair use. I just want you to hear what Dennis had to say about the same thing that I just told you. Hold on.
Logistically, we're not doing that. He said, if I seal the case, documents are not visible. It's just highly inconvenient, and there's no reason, legally for me to seal this case. That came up a little bit later, but Randy did try to offer an olive branch, and maybe that's Randy's tactic of being like super gentlemanly, because he said, Adama, if there is,
that's what she was saying, that the judge decided not to seal the case. But right after that, that was the only two things that they acknowledged was the motion to seal, Todd's denial of that motion, and then the Rule 22. Hold on.
something that offline that we need to kind of talk about, like, and the judge was like, look, you two talk about that offline. Like, if there's something confidential, I guess they would work out how to handle those things with the judge, versus it was something the judge wasn't going to have to rule upon, and they were basically going to discuss, I guess, how they would handle filing things that are more confidential in nature. But the judge basically out the box said he's not sealing the case. So that is news for the streets, because when they filed that motion basically to like seal the case, that's not happening. They're not going to be able to seal the case. There's no legal reason for them to seal the case, but in terms of maybe some things that are confidential, I guess on a case by case basis or filing by filing basis, maybe.
And that's really what Todd said in his. We went through the whole entire documents, and Todd basically said, I understand redacting, I understand, but a lot of the information that you claim is would be private is available to the public already, and like the tax records and everything else. But anyway, hold on.
They would address those things, but as far as the entire case, no. Now, as far as cameras, recording devices, and things of that nature, that is no for right now. Me personally, I did not file a Rule 22. I just wanted to be at the table, and I just didn't see a reason to file a Rule 22. The person who filed the Rule 22, I mean, obviously.
Everybody is pissed off, not just me. Y'all be like, oh, Michelle can't stand nobody. It's not just me. Everybody is pissed off because this dumb blogger went and filed a Rule 22 for a status conference. Hold on.
I want to have that shot for today, but at the end of the day, you got to pick your battles with some of this stuff. What do you think, Dennis?
As a member of the press, and I'm covering a high-profile story, and this is just for anyone that is following or honing in on a high-profile story. You got to know when to submit your paperwork to make it make sense, because if you signal, like this blogger did, signal that she wanted to even get the smallest pieces of what's happening in this case, i.e. the negotiations, then
see, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Like what? Like what? Why are you so invested? Like, we understand the amount of public interest, but you don't have to go in there and find out where the kids go to school. You ain't got to do all that. Like, some of this stuff, like, is common sense.
That puts everyone on high alert. You got to wait. Like,
right.
Now, if I know that this thing's trial ready, is going to trial, that's when that's when I file paperwork. That's when we're going to prepare to. If we have to argue, we're going to make sure we have the right argument and to present it to the judge. You got to know the judge as well. Like, I don't know this judge. I'm not familiar with this judge. So I would probably look at some of his past cases and see how he ruled. But yeah, I wouldn't have filed it on a status. Definitely, I never filed on a status conference. I just was going to be an observer. I just didn't need to do that. So now, this I'm going to take the other part. I'm going to let you speak.
No, go ahead.
When they know that press is interested in a case like this, they're more apt to try to resolve this, because they may not even want the dirty laundry to be.
Dennis just said what I said earlier today when I said about keeping it open. I felt like that was a legal strategy from Kessler Todd's side, because keeping the case open exposes Kandi to a lot of scrutiny. You know what I mean? She may not want y'all to know how much money she has. She may not want y'all to know the real deal between her and Todd, that it isn't hunky-dory. She may not want y'all to know that she pays a mortgage. She wants y'all to keep thinking that she bought her house for cash. She may not want y'all to know all those things.
Out here. So I'm taking this case, depending upon what happens in the next day, court date, you can announce that date, the next update. But depending upon the interest in this case, they'll likely not want to, they may settle out. They're going to try to find a resolution. And usually when media is at play and they have their brands at stake, or not at stake, or just watching, they may lean more towards a settlement than taking this to a full trial, because it doesn't work for either one of them. Todd may be portrayed in the media as this, I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, as this well-kept man, and then Kandi may be portrayed in the media as someone who's getting taken advantage of. You follow me?
She had put him on mute. But y'all go and watch Real Talk Bougie. She did a 3-hour live stream earlier today, right after court, where they talked about a lot of the court documents that I've already talked about. But in addition to that, they talked about that 30-minute status conference that went on today. You said, who is the blogger? I told y'all who the blogger was. Somebody named Lakeisha Howard. I don't know. Who cares? But whoever it was should have advised an attorney, or should have an attorney on their team that would have told them that it does not make any sense to file a Rule 22 for a status conference. In doing so, you fumbling the bag for the rest of the bloggers, for the rest of the journalists, and all of that. Like, why would you do that? Why would you put the attorneys on high alert and let them know that you want to be in on every little conference? Like, that doesn't make sense. This is a divorce. Like, these people are serious. These are their lives. Okay. Don't put this person there. I'm not promoting no channels. Okay. I said the person's full name and y'all can go from there. You said she wants to be recognized as, I said, do not. If look, one more person put it in there, you getting blocked. She wants to be recognized as the only blogger that was there. She did that with Portia and Simon. Okay, here's the thing too. Okay, and who cares about the Portia and Simon thing? Like, I feel like that's why they felt that they had to do it the way they did it in this case, because in Portia and Simon's case, neither Portia nor Simon cared if it was open or closed. Right? They didn't file no motion to seal. But in this case, because Kandi had already filed a motion to seal the documents, it was a big deal, which means if you're filing that, you got to be prepared to actually argue your case with the judge. And if you're not able to enunciate exactly why you feel that it's important for you to record this, why you feel that it's important for you to have your camera or your phone or whatever in there, you shouldn't be in there in the first place. Like, what was wrong with you that you couldn't have said that? Just my questions. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know what that person may have told you, but the truth is the truth. And there are other bloggers and media outlets that were there that, like I said, feel the same as I do. Like, some of y'all, really, I'm just saying. I've been in this game almost 20 years for a reason. Some things you just got to be a little bit more careful doing. Okay. And again, these people's real lives. This ain't no game. This ain't no reality show. Like I told y'all before, when I first started reporting on this Kandi and Todd divorce drama, eh, I would hope that they gonna get back together. I hope that Kandi would decide it's cheaper to keep them. I hope that one day they dismiss the entire thing and we don't know nothing. That's what I hope. But since we not, I'm gonna read the documents as they come. I hope that they not sealed, but if they are sealed, oh well. Okay, I just have to hear what's going on the streets. Okay. Reality shows that a Rule 22 is a motion. You need to be ready with law and facts. Okay, well, apparently, like I told you, because it worked for her in the first court case, and because no one challenged it in the first court case, she wasn't prepared to challenge it in this court case. And so my thing is, even because it's a status conference, let's even take it off the table that it was a status conference. She should have been prepared to say, this is my Fourth Amendment right. These First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, whatever amendment, this is my right to be here as a journalist. Like, had you said those words, it would have been a no-brainer. The judge wouldn't have no reason to deny it. But because the attorney disputed it and you didn't have no rebuttal to the attorney, like, now you sitting there with egg on your face. I'm sure your neck was hot. I wonder if they made her turn her camera on. Her own people tried to tell her, well, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence, honey? But anyway, like I always tell y'all, I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I am not a lawyer, but I have been involved in several legal cases, and I have a lawyer on retainer that I call and I ask questions of. I don't be coming up with this stuff by myself. Y'all be thinking I be coming up here saying, "Da, da, 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 da," and this is why I know this. Absolutely, positively not. I ask people who are informed. Okay, I ask people who have real law degrees. It's not just me. Okay, so yeah, I am smart. I can put two and two together, but at the same time, I do have people. I'm not gonna say I have a team, but I have friends, family. I have an entire village of people who counsel me on topics. So you know there is that. You said I don't listen to her or view her videos. Oh, okay. Well, give everybody your click and your view. I mean, that's what YouTube is for. YouTube is for different views, different opinions, all of the above. But of course, I'm gonna speak on it when it starts to affect everybody. Like, if you do something that affect everybody, then we're gonna be like, what the hell, Kelly, yo, how you gonna mess it up for everybody? Okay, just be careful. That's all. Like, there are no rules in this game of blogging. Okay, journalists have things that they have to go by, but at the end of the day, blogging is like the wild wild west. People do whatever the hell they want to do. People say whatever the hell they want to say. People lie, people steal, people do all kind of things. And that's why I like to call out people who do those things, because I have built my brand on credibility. I don't lie on nobody. Like, people may not like me for whatever reason, but one thing I have never done ever is lie on anybody. So that being said, we will continue to monitor this Kandi and Todd divorce situation. If you have not watched the video that I have done on the legal documents, the last couple of motions that were filed were juicy. Please go watch my previous videos. They were amazing, I must say. And I have cut them up and reposted them for people who did, people who wanted to be in the chat, all of that. I did all of that. So it's like 3-4 different versions of that video out there. Because the first video I did was like 2, maybe 3 hours long, and I didn't talk about Kandi to the last, 50 minutes or so. Same with this video. I might cut up the Kandi segment and post it by itself. But there's that. Let me know what you guys think. Should bloggers even be filing these court motions? Let me know. And I'm a blogger. Like, should bloggers, or should we leave it to the media outlets? I'm just saying, like, yes, I get it. We are all entitled to be in court. We're all entitled to do all those things. But when it comes to like having television cameras in the courtroom, it's a different kind of ball game. Like, that's really what you filed the Rule 22 for. Like, and you don't know that, but that's really what it was for. So should they do that? Does this hurt media access for the rest of us? Y'all let me know. You say you see no problem with it. Okay. What's this about, journalism, or what's this really about the clicks and views? Let me know. She should have asked some other bloggers about what. I mean, people don't trust, bloggers don't trust each other. She should have at least asked an attorney. I think that would have been smart to ask an attorney. You say yes if you actually know what you're doing. Okay. Okay. It's an open case for everyone. Okay. All right. Well, there's that. Okay. She said Candy's attorney was being really nasty in court. I mean, okay. I like Adama. I don't think Adama was being nasty. I don't know. I wasn't there, but no other blogger said anything about Adama being nasty. Okay. It was other people in the court. Dennis was there. Um, um, Hold on. I keep forgetting the name of the channel, child, that I just showed y'all, that I told y'all to go watch. Um, the Bougie channel was there. What's your channel, friend? Lord, I just played it. Hold on, because I'm gonna find it. And then this Spider-Man. I don't even see it no more. Oh, there it is right there. Real Talk Bougie. Real Talk Bougie. Y'all go support Real Talk Bougie. They were there. Okay. Um, Yeah. So none of those attorneys had. I mean, none of those people had the same story when it came to that attorney. If, and I haven't heard what that blogger said, but if she said something about the other attorney being mean and nasty to her, then she was just embarrassed. That's probably what it was, because the other attorney did nothing but dispute the rule 22. That was it. That was it. That was all. And on that note, I don't think I had nothing else to talk about. Y'all, anybody want to call in? I put the link in for anyone who wants to call in. If not, I will call it a day. If you are on my Patreon, go watch the Patreon I did earlier. We had a good old time.